Hey guys, it's Carolina here from KarolinasKrafts and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I have a fun project share to share with you guys. And yeah, I've been trying to finish using up this fall paper from this paper pad called Fall Forest. So if you guys saw, I've been making a ton of projects with this and I just want to get the paper pad done, guys. And I really thought that this project would be it and I would finish using up the paper pad because I was like already struggling in paper piecing, but I still have like a bunch of cut aparts left, which is surprising because that's usually the first thing that goes is my cut aparts, but somehow I have a ton. And I have these tags and some more little scraps. So there's a cut apart. So these are all my little like scraps. So just a bunch of like little things, nothing for like a bigger project really. And my scraps are fairly like small. They're like strips, so I can't even make like a 4x4 album either. They're not big enough for that. I mean, unless I do paper piecing on every single page. And then this is only the full size sheet I have left, which is just even more tags, but there's also paper on the back that I could use if I wanted to. But yeah, just a lot of cut aparts. So I was thinking with the rest of that, and this doesn't belong here, but I was thinking with the rest of that, maybe I would just do or try to do a bunch of cards because I could get 9 cards out of this and just use these on the fronts of the cards. So I'm not sure, but I was thinking of paper piecing and making some cards with that. So we shall see. But let me show you guys what I created because this is so cute. Alright guys, so for this project, I was actually inspired by Scrap Queen, and she had recently done a tutorial with like her dog paper that she came out with, and I think it's called like a dog's purpose or something like that. And she made like this gigantic album with a bunch of like smaller little albums kind of inside of it that you could like take out. And I really fell in love with this one that she had done. And yeah, I love Scrap Queen, and she is so creative and she makes like the coolest albums. But with her tutorials, well, they're not really tutorials, they're more like process videos, and she doesn't give measurements for anything. She kind of just puts the paper down, then puts like a little mark with a pencil, and then that's where she cuts it. So like there is no actual like measurements, and I'm just like, I need measurements. So I started coming up with some of my own, and if you guys do want a tutorial on this, let me know. But I started coming up with like my own measurements and writing things down as I was making it, but looking at hers. And yeah, so this is what I got. And she has some kind of like other obviously design here. I used a die kind of, which let me show you guys. So I was actually looking for, I have like slimline envelope die, and I was actually looking for my die because it would have been long enough, but I cannot find it for the life of me. So the next thing I got to do is go through my die stash and get rid of a bunch of dies that I don't use. I have way too many, and there's a ton that I don't use. But anyway, as I was going through my die stash, I found this set that I had never used before. So I had taken this apart. You could see it's mostly still attached. And I used this guy here. And as I was doing this, all I did was kind of outline this, and then I just cut around it, like hand cut it. I didn't use the die cut for this because that would have cut all of this too, and I really only just wanted that edge here. So that's what I did. I just kind of traced around this for that little design, even though I would have preferred my border die that I have for slimline cards. I couldn't find it. Anyway, so that's what I did here, and I think it came out really nice, and I triple layered it and everything. I've got this cut apart on the front here that says Happy Fall. These little flowers, these were gifted to me a while ago. I don't know from who, but they came in handy here. And then I also added in some jemmies. Here's the spine, which if I was to do this again, I would make this a little bit bigger because you guys could see it's a little chunky. So I definitely would make the spine probably like 1/2 inch because this is a 1/4 inch. And then just the back side. And I've got a ribbon closure here. So she didn't have any ribbon closures or anything. I don't even know if she had magnets, but I included that because I wanted this to be like a standalone thing, whereas Scrap Queen, this was part of her album. It was just one of the pages or one of the sections from her album that had a bunch of sections. All right, so I added in 2 magnets here and here, and that opens up this section here. And you guys could see I was paper piecing, trying to use up scraps, but I actually like how it turned out. So this is this piece here. I turned this into a little pocket, made a couple of tags because I had some of that tag paper, and I used a bunch, but yet I still have so many. So I just made a couple of those, and I just have them living in here, and I kind of like having them like that instead of just tucked like that. I think it just looks a little bit cuter, just like that. And then you could add like a photo here, but again, you have to be careful because there's magnets here, but you can still add in a good size photo, whether it's across here or just here, and then do some journaling on the tags. All right, so then that closes back up. It's just magnetized, and then this ribbon opens up the rest of this album, and it looks like this. And again, I did paper piecing, but I actually really like how it turned out. And at first I wasn't like loving it, but then it grew on me, and I actually really like it. So on the left hand side here, I have a waterfall, and I ended up making a magnetic closure. Scrap Queen didn't have a closure at all for the waterfall, kind of just like floated around, but I was doing this as a standalone thing, and I felt it needed a closure. So I made a little magnetic closure band kind of thing, and I used one of the cut aparts here that says life doesn't have to be perfect to be wonderful, and it is magnetized. So this opens up and it flips down, and I paper matted all of this. And this, the way that I cut this is so that the pattern kind of stays the same and together. So as you open this, you could add in photos for the top and the bottom. So it just has that little strip, so you don't have to worry about like covering up the whole entire paper. You know where exactly you need to put your photo so that you still see that beautiful design. So you've got plenty of space for photos here, front and back. And then that last piece here, again, some paper piecing here. But I like how it turned out because I needed to have that little strip here to continue this, to have that keep going with the same pattern. So then that just ended up being like another little piece. And I also made another little tag here because again, I have a ton of these tags and I still have a whole other sheet. And then that just closes back up, and that magnetizes closed. And I really like how it turned out. It's so cute. Then there's also this pocket here, and I could fit my whole entire hand in here, guys. Whoever receives this or is giving it to somebody, you could add in a ton of photos in here, guys. There's so much space. But I only have this one booklet here, and this is actually paper from another fall collection I was trying to use up that I have just plaids left over somehow. But yeah, I thought it kind of went with this. And this, you open this up and it just got a white photo mat in there, but you could add a message, a photo, 2 photos, 3 photos, whatever you want. And then again, you could tuck in more photos inside this large pocket because it literally is the size of that whole entire page. Okay, and then on the right hand side, I have 2 more pockets that I had made, and you can see I did another one of those little designs. So I used this same die, but instead of the side like I did on the front cover, I used this side, this piece here. So, you know, you could use your dies in other ways, even if it's not for die cutting. You could use it for tracing. So I made those 2 pockets, made that cute little design, and then I had to paper piece some papers together, and I just made both of these the same. So in this top one, I have a photo mat here. And I have this white piece also that you could use as a guide to cut out your photo, or you could stick this on and write a message. But I wanted that to be an option for somebody because I didn't want to stick it down if the person doesn't want it, because I didn't want to bulk up this album anymore because it's already a little chunky. So I was thinking if you're gonna add a photo, you could just add it straight there. But yeah, I included that little white piece anyway. And you could fit in more photos in here as well. They're good size pockets. And then same thing on the bottom here, but I also have a little tag in here. I love this paper from that collection and I needed to find a way to use it. I only had like a little scrap piece, so I had to use it. Got some seam binding here, and I had seam binding on the other tags also, which I forgot to mention is from my scrap cabin shop. It's the seam binding that I use. And I literally have like a drawer of kind of like ribbon ends and like little pieces. This one's a little longer piece, but not long enough to do like a closure or anything. So I just kind of like put these little pieces in here, and then as I need little pieces for tags and whatnot, I just go into here first, see if there's some kind of matching ribbon, and that's what I use. It's my little like scrap ribbon drawer. But yeah, so it's from my scrap cabin shop for the seam binding. And then you flip it, I've got a tag, and then I also have another photo mat in here. It's the same idea here. I didn't stick down the white mat, but you can, or you could just add a photo directly to the back of that. So yeah, that lives in that pocket, and that is the whole entire album. And I think it just turned out so cute. I love it. So 2 things, guys. 1, this is available in my Etsy shop in case you guys are interested. But 2, let me know if this is something you guys would like a tutorial on, because I did start writing down the measurements, and I could totally do a tutorial on this. I just have to finish writing down the rest of the measurements, because some things I was just kind of figuring out as I was going, but it's easy enough for me to measure and write down. So yeah, so let me know, guys. And I just love how it turned out. So all right, guys, that's everything. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this project share of like a unique kind of album, even though it wasn't my original idea. It's from Scrap Queen inspired, but I just love it. It's so cute. All right, guys, thank you, and I will see you guys in my next crafty video. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.